I'm gonna slowly start recording. So as I said, like if you have a bolster, good. If you don't, it's not really necessary for today's session. I have 3 blocks with me, 2 actually are enough, but if you have 3, again, you might want to kind of like use more blocks. I always give you, how should I say, like I always give you options for the poses, okay? So that because I don't know how everyone is set up at home, so obviously I want to adjust it for you. Make sure you have socks, and that might sound weird, but you know, usually during the Yoga Nidra part, our blood pressure drops a little bit because we're starting to really relax, and then we can feel a bit colder. So have a pair of socks, maybe a scarf or a blanket, just so that you can make sure you're warm. What else should I say? As I said, like if you ever feel like a pose doesn't suit you, like you can always let me know also in the chat. I will always check with the computer. Yeah, I think that's actually it. And has everyone, is anybody new to Yoga Nidra, or everyone has done it before? Everyone has, I think like most of you have done it before. Okay, good. So I'll just gonna mute everyone now. Good, and then I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna have my phone with me just for time. Good. So, oh, and of course there's the next person coming in. So I might have to run back and forth for a few more times if someone comes in a bit later. Good. Welcome everyone to today's Yoga Nidra and Yin Yoga session. And as I said, I cannot tell you just how much like joy it brings me to see you all here and to practice this workshop today with you. Before we start, like if you ever have issues hearing me, I think it shouldn't start, but like if there's ever an issue, again, let me know, because like from here, I cannot tell whether the tone is good at your end. And just a little warning, so my camera battery only lasts about 90 minutes. So in the middle of the session, at one point it will turn dark, and then I will just put in the other battery. So don't worry, like we're back on again, but I just need to change the battery because it doesn't last any longer, just so that you know. And then I think we can slowly start. So welcome everyone. My name is Christina, and I'm really happy to have you all here. And before we begin, I just want to give you a little bit of an introduction of what is going to happen tonight. And when I set up the workshop, I was really thinking about like what is the topic going to be. And last time it was a lot about manifesting and heart opening. And I still love that. I love doing these kind of practices. But I also felt like in my meditative practice that right now it seems to be quite an interesting time, like energy-wise. There's a big shift happening, I feel. And you know, we might feel that transformation, like you might feel that within you as well. Maybe you notice it within your life. I think the past months might have been quite intense for most of us. And so today is also about releasing and letting go of whatever doesn't serve us any longer. And whenever we think about like what doesn't serve us any longer, sometimes it's not that easy to know, or sometimes it's also not that easy to let go of. In psychology, we talk about how sometimes it's easier to stay with something that's uncomfortable but known, rather than to open us up for something new and unknown. And that's just how the brain works. It always thinks like what we already know feels familiar, and we know how to regulate it. And that's why I want to work today on opening the hips. I will work a little bit on opening the heart as well, because obviously the heart center is also quite an emotional center. But our focus will be mainly on our hips. And in the yogic tradition, we believe that the hips are a seat of where our emotions are stored, and especially emotions of stress, fear, anxiety, these kinds of emotion. And I know I talk in my classes quite a lot about it, but if you've never been to my class, I'll just tell you a little bit like the physiological response, is that the right word? About like why is that the case? So it's not just like, oh yeah, like we have the seat of emotions there. No, it's because whenever we are stressed, we go into the fight or flight mode. So our sympathetic nervous system is active, and we either want to run or we want to fight. That's a little bit kind of like in an easy way, in a nutshell. And obviously the main muscles we need for that is our legs. They need to run. And so the main muscle there is our psoas muscle. It attaches in the lower part of the spine, and then it goes through your hip towards the front of the thigh. So it's the muscle that does this, that lifts the leg up. And so if we have stress in the modern day world, we usually don't run away from it, right? It's like if you have a deadline, you can't just run away, and you also can't fight your boss. So that stress, kind of like your muscles keep being active and keep being ready to do something, but then that just doesn't happen. And that is why like there's a lot of like tension then felt in the hip, and then it can grow into your lower back, into your upper back. It can grow into your belly. So sometimes, a lot of times when we're really stressed, we can feel that in the belly region, that our digestive system isn't that great anymore. And so that's a little bit of like what we want to address today. And you will see, like, just when you start to release the hips, you might feel emotional. That can always happen, that you feel like there's a lot of emotions coming up. Doesn't have to, but can. And maybe you feel like the sense of freedom once you start to go into that process. And so that's kind of like the first part of the practice. And then when we come to the Yoga Nidra session today, I'm gonna make it more kind of like as a journey with a lot of like images. So we still do the Yoga Nidra, but there will be also a little bit of like a story to the Yoga Nidra itself. Good. And we're gonna start in a little bit of a back bend first. I just want to have us grounded first. Now, as you can see, I have quite a few props here. If you have a bolster or a big pillow, something that I like to do is just have my bolster like this, and then place my lower back onto the bolster. If you have two blocks, you might want to place them underneath your legs, or you can have your legs straight. So that's the first option for a little bit of a back bend. It should feel quite comfortable. If you feel like I have only one block at home, that's also fine. You could have your block just like this, and then have it in the middle of your shoulder blades, and just either have your arms like this or have them to the side. And then the third version, if you have two blocks and you want to have a bit of a stronger back bend, be reminded that this is quite a strong back bend. So if you're very, very tight in your upper spine, you might want to opt for a gentler one. You could have the block like this, like midline, and then the back block high up. And then again, you place the block here in the middle of your spine and let your head rest. And guys, just before we start, I'm gonna tell my husband that they have to be quiet. I'm so sorry, I'll be back in 2 seconds. So, sorry, but I just wanna make sure, because he has a talent to be like the loudest in the hallway. So find your position that you find you can stay in for about 5 to 7 minutes. So I'm gonna go with the two blocks. I really like that version. That is a version that suits me. Maybe you want to have one block and just a blanket over it. Make sure that you're gonna be comfortable in your back bend. And then allow your arms to come to the side. And take a deep breath in and out. And while you're exhaling, slowly close your eyes. Welcome to this journey for tonight. This is a journey through your body, all the way to your heart. And while we're on this journey, I invite you to just be observant and open-minded. Whatever pose you encounter, just observe it without any judgment. All our bodies are different. Some poses might feel more available than others. Some poses will challenge you. A challenge to be present and calm. And my advice, not only for yoga, but especially for tonight, is to take everything with a sense of optimism and humor. Always remember that whatever you do, it's just a moment in time. Every pose is just that. It's just a pose. It doesn't define you, doesn't make you better or worse. It's simply a moment that invites you to look at the present moment. And while we're in this pose, I invite you to deepen the breath. If you feel still a bit wired from today, I invite you to exhale deeply out through the mouth, and you can breathe in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. And by doing so, you're sinking deeper and deeper into the mat. You can feel yourself slowly relax. Yin yoga is also called the quiet practice. In this practice, we're invited to stand still, holding a pose for a longer period of time, allowing all our muscles and the tissue around those muscles to release fully. And it takes a while for our body to do so. It takes a while for the stretch response to activate fully all the way to the last muscle. It might interest you that whenever our muscles are stretched, they release chemical signals that travel up towards the brain, where the brain releases neurotransmitters, other chemical signals that can help the muscle to stretch and release even more. And knowing that, it becomes a bit more understandable why it takes a while for our muscles to fully let go. And what we can do to support that process is to breathe. Deep, long breaths. I like to think that with every exhalation, I'm letting go of tension. I'm allowing myself to relax. This practice tonight is just for you. There's nothing you have to do. If you feel uncomfortable with a pose, just make it softer. You don't always have to go 100%. And before we're starting with our hip opening. I want to just take a moment to come again with our focus to the breathing. So I invite you to bring your left hand onto your heart and your right hand onto your belly. And we're going to start with Dirga breathing, the 3-step breath. And for that breath, we will first inhale into the belly and then pause the breath. And we keep drawing that breath up into the heart. We pause again. And then we're going to breathe even higher up towards the collarbone where the top of your lung resides. And then we exhale all the air out. If you're new to this breath, it might feel a bit funny at the beginning. Just give it time. So take a normal deep breath in through the nose. And exhale all the air out. Take another deep breath in through the nose. And exhale all the air out through the mouth again. Good. Now close your lips and inhale through the nose into your belly. Pause the breath. 1, 2. Now keep inhaling into your chest. Pause. 1, 2. And keep inhaling all the way to the collarbones. Pause. 1, 2. And exhale all the air out through the mouth. Inhaling into the belly. Pause. 1, 2. Inhale into your chest. Pause. 1, 2. And inhale into the top of your lungs. Pause. 1, 2. And exhale all the air out. Inhale into your belly. Pause. 1, 2. Inhaling into your chest. Pause. 1, 2. And inhaling into the top of your lungs. Pause. 1, 2. And exhale all the air out. Pause. 1, 2. Inhaling into the belly. Pause. 1, 2. Inhaling into your chest. Pause. 1, 2. And inhaling into the top of your lungs. Pause. 1, 2. And exhale all the air out. One more time. Inhale into your belly. Pause. 1, 2. Inhaling into your chest. Pause. 1, 2. Inhaling into the top of your lungs. Pause. 1, 2. And exhale, release. And let your arms again sink next to the body. Take a few more deep breaths in and out. How are you doing right now? How are you feeling? Can you relax just a little bit more? Good. And from here, we're slowly starting to move the toes, just the toes. Move the fingers a little bit. Just coming back into the present moment. And from here, bring your hands down next to your body and very, very gently, whoops, start to lift up into a seated position. Good. And then bring your legs in front of you for diamond shape. So the knees come out, the feet are in front, and just allow yourself to lean forward very gently. We just want to have a counter pose to that heart opener we just had. Letting our head relax. Make sure your shoulders and your neck are relaxed. Just want to have a little bit of a counter pose to that back bend, to that heart opener we just experienced. Good. And then from here, we gently come back, bringing the hands down to the floor, and we're slowly pushing back. Good. So I'm sorry for the loud noise. I think one of my blocks just fell. So we're gonna start with gently preparing the hips for tonight's opening. So imagine if I had a mat here. I have my right foot on the right edge and the left foot on the left edge of the mat. Your hands can be in the back, and we're just gonna gently draw the knees from side to side. This practice is a good indication about your inward rotation. So if you're moving your knee towards the inside, that's the inward rotation. And as you can see, like right now, I'm still a bit stiff, so my knees don't naturally sink towards the floor. I can have it there, but it's not something that naturally happens right now. It will probably, hopefully, towards the end of today's class, we will feel quite a bit different here. Yeah, and then we're going to start with the first hip opener, and that is going to be butterfly. As if you feel like your hips are extremely tight right now and butterfly feels too intense, you can continue in diamond shape like we just did before, but this time we're going to hold it longer. Otherwise, bring your feet close to your hips and then hold your toes with your hands, and you're just going to gently start opening the hips very gently. Now remember, this is the first hip opening we do today. So remember what I said in the beginning, you don't have to go right away to 100%. Take it easy, take it relaxed, give your hips time to open up. We just want to prepare them. And then from here, we're just slowly starting to round our spine. Now, if you like to have a bit of support, you might want to bring a block onto your feet. If that is too high, you can take another block and have your head like this. I'm going to show this from the side. If you feel like you're a bit sensitive in your lower back, you might just want to straighten the back and just lean forward, not too much, just a little bit. Let your head relax. Let yourself release into this pose. Closing your eyes. Deep breaths here. Just let your eyes close, relaxing the whole body into this shape. Allowing yourself to sink deeper and deeper.
And with every exhalation, you're letting go a little bit more. You're allowing yourself to release deeper and deeper into this pose. Making sure your shoulders and your neck are relaxed. Maybe you can feel a bit of resistance within you. A little bit of holding back. And if you notice that, just let it go. It's okay. Can you deepen your breath a little bit more? Can you just observe your pose without any judgment? Can you embrace that pose as your teacher, as your supporter? If you like a mantra for your breath, you can always use inhaling space, exhale tension. Inhaling freedom. Exhale tightness. Inhaling peace. Exhaling fear. Maybe you can feel a shift in the pose. You might feel that you want to go deeper. You don't have to. Today is all about observing the present moment. You might notice your thoughts jump from point to point, from thought to thought in the beginning. And that is normal. Whenever you notice it, you're already present. And then you can bring your thoughts back to the here and now. One more minute. How does this pose make you feel? Do you notice a part of you holding back? Or is it easy for you to just be? Are your hips quite tight, or is this an area that you like to stretch out naturally? Yeah. And then from here, very, very slowly, bring your hands onto the floor and take your time. Gently, gently push yourself back up. It can feel quite intense. You can bring your hands underneath your knees and just straighten your legs forward for a moment. Maybe you want to just stretch your feet a little bit, just drawing them back and forth. Good. And then from here, we're going to bring the left knee down and the right knee on top for Gomukhasana, cow head.
For those of you who cannot do this, if you can still hold the leg like this, you can hold it in this shape. If that is not available, come into a seated position and just have your right leg in front of you. And then from here, we're going to take a deep breath in. And exhale, we're leaning towards the right side. So we want to open the side body. You can let your head relax. And imagine you drawing your breath all along the left side of your body. Make sure your head is truly relaxed. If you feel like your shoulder is hurting, you can have your hand behind your lower back. But if possible, try to stay with this pose for a little while longer. So we're starting to not only stretch the hip, you can probably feel a nice stretch along the left hip, but we're also starting to open up the left side body, creating space so you can breathe deeply. A lot of time we're not aware how tight the side is, and that also affects the way we inhale. If your rib cage is very stiff, very tight, it's harder to take those deep breaths. Can you let your head hang a little bit more? Are your breath slow and steady? If you feel like it's really intense for your head, you can also just have your head leaning on top of your right hand. You can also always have a block underneath your right elbow if you need a little bit of support. Notice how we're stretching up. You might notice that the pose is starting to intensify, that it feels stronger now than it did at the beginning of the class. Can you take those deep breaths? Can you exhale? Good. And then in a very, very slowly, come back into center. Push yourself up with your right hand. And let's change the side. Good. Beautiful. So place your left knee on top. Again, if that is not possible, if you can still do this position, that's fine. If that is still not possible, just place your left leg in front of the right. And then let's take a deep breath in and exhale, lean towards our left side. So we're starting to stretch out the right side. As I said before, you can always use your block as a support. Have a block underneath your right arm. Have two blocks there if you need to. If you need to support your neck, if you feel like just letting your head hang is too intense, you can have your left arm underneath your left ear. Again, what you want to do here is you want to create space by breathing into the whole right side. You know, I talked about how today is about releasing, and we will go more into the emotional aspect later, but right now you can really release that tension. Imagine that you're like a rubber band that is now being stretched, that has now being lengthened. Are your thoughts still with your breathing? Can you stay optimistic, enjoying the journey rather than judging it? Good. And then very, very slowly start to come back out. Take your time. Good. Lengthening your legs. Taking a moment again just to stretch the legs out. So we opened here a lot. So now we're going to come to another hip opener. So again, like before, we're going to place the left shin onto the floor and the right shin on top. Make sure that they're parallel to your mat. If that is not possible, if you need something like this, just place your right shin in front of you. Both are fine. And then from here, we're going to lengthen the spine. I'm going to show this from the side. So we're going to lengthen the spine and we're going to just start to draw forward. You should feel a nice stretch in your right buttock at one point. And again, like before, you know, you can use your blocks. Always use those tools to support you. You know, if that is comfortable, like you can stay like this. If you feel like you want to use your bolster, if you have one at home, you might just want to be on the bolster. Make sure that you're as comfortable as possible without taking away from the stretch. You obviously want to still feel a stretch. So see how your tools can support you. And then allow your eyes again to close. And release. We're going to stay in this position for 3 minutes. It's quite some time. Should you ever feel like something is hurting, always come a little bit out and see whether you just need to breathe or whether you need to change the pose a bit more. We're stretching out the whole right hip area. So for everyone who feels a lot of tension in their lower back, this is a wonderful pose to release that tension. Maybe you can let your head hang even more. Might want to sink even deeper into the pose. What can this pose help you to let go of? What do you need to release in your hips? We have 90 more seconds on this side. Notice how you're slowly softening. You're part of the journey. You're allowing yourself to let go. Maybe you can already feel a sense of peace coming over you or growing from within you. I am present. I am calm. Good. And then very gently start to come back out. Take your time. Good. And again, release your legs. By the way, in these kind of poses, it can happen that it feels a bit like your feet or your legs fall asleep. It's nothing bad. If you do this poses more often, it will disappear, but in the beginning that can sometimes happen. Good. And then from here, we're going to place the right shin down and we're going to place the left shin on top or in front. Both work. If you have your shin there, you don't want to have them crossed. You don't want to have them like this. You really want to have them on top of one another so that they're a straight line. And then again, see, like a lot of it happens with your lift, with you lifting forward, with you shifting the pelvis. And then you're gonna just lean forward. Can you feel that? You might already feel it like here. So you might want to start somewhere here. Otherwise, sink a little bit further down. Again, use your props so that you feel that you're the most supported you can be. And we're gonna have, again, 3 minutes in that pose. You might find that one side feels tighter than the other side. That is very well possible, as we're not the same length on either side. And we also tend to use the two sides differently in our everyday life. Make sure your neck is relaxed as well, your shoulders, your head. Imagine that you're melting into this pose. Every breath, you're arriving deeper and deeper in this new shape. You can feel a state of acceptance, a consciousness that realizes that nothing is good or bad, it just is. You're exhaling out all the tension, all the stress and worries that might have built up over the past weeks and months and years. We have 45 more seconds on this side. Is your neck relaxed? Are the shoulders relaxed? Are your thoughts with your breath, or have they traveled elsewhere? And then from here, we're slowly starting to come back. Take your time. Good. And from here, gently release again. Letting your legs come forward, shaking them out. You might want to shake out your feet a little bit or just stretch them out. Good. And from here, I'm gonna give you a pose that is about opening. Like, so now we open the hips like this, and I wanna now work a little bit on that inward rotation. So we're gonna bring the right knee out to the side. And here it depends a little bit on what props you have. If you have only blocks, you can just, so you're having your right foot out on the buttock, your left foot touches the knee. And if you have no props, we're just gonna come into this stretch. So this is about opening the meridians here, lengthening. If you have a bolster or a big blanket and a block, you can have the bolster and the block. Can you see that? So that the block is on top of the bolster and the bolster is in a 90-degree angle to your knee. And then you can lie over your bolster. So this will intensify the pose. I'll show this a bit from the side. Is it clear for everyone how you can do it? So if you have no bolster and you feel like you also don't want to go there, you can just be in this twist. So you have that length here along the right side. Otherwise, have your bolster in a 90-degree angle to your knee and let yourself sink over the bolster or your pillow. Both poses are equal, they're just a little bit different. And then close your eyes. Again, we're gonna stay for 3 minutes in this pose. Soften the breath. A little reminder that when you come out, you can feel this a lot in your spine. So come out slowly once we're done. And then from here, just see how you can relax into whichever pose you chose. Creating a length all along the right side. Our breaths become slower and deeper. I often feel that in Yin we realize that there is a sense of vulnerability that also is equally a space of strength and power. Once you're allowing yourself to truly feel without hesitation, without holding back, once you accept discomfort as part of the journey that you no longer need to fight, you're entering a state of great freedom. Can you feel that? Isn't it wonderful that we can stay with discomfort without letting it overwhelm us? Isn't it amazing that we can choose to be present and to be relaxed? Even if the stretch is strong, even if the pose demands a lot from us. Good. And then very slowly, if you're on the bolster, place your hands down onto the floor and gently lift up. If you're in the twist, you can also gently come back. Take your time. You might notice that quite a bit in your spine, and we're just going to twist to the opposite side. Take a few breaths in this pose. We're not going to hold this very long. I just want to give your spine a moment to feel a counter reaction. Good. And inhale, slowly coming back. And bring your right leg forward. Good. And then we're going to do the same thing on the left. So again, if you have your bolster, you can just place it onto the other side. Remember, you don't need it. It's completely fine to just do the twist version. Bring your left foot behind your buttock, and your right foot touches the left knee. And then take a deep breath in, and exhale, twist towards your right. See here, you can already feel that stretch along the left other side. So you might really want to stay just like this. If you feel like, no, I would like to lean over my bolster, you can just hug your bolster and lean over the bolster. So both versions are fine. You're just gonna take a deep breath again. We're gonna stay again for 3 minutes.
We're living in a world where constant resistance, fighting, conquering is considered the value that we have to strive for. And releasing, giving in, softness is considered weakness. But if you cannot bend, it breaks you. If you cannot release, where does this energy end up? The yin part of yoga is associated with the feminine strength, the feminine energies. The dark side of the moon, the shadow that holds so much wisdom. And I like to think about our own inner wisdom as a deep, dark pond. And a lot of time we just look at the surface. We spend time at the surface of that pond. And that surface often reflects what other people think is right or wrong. And then when we come into a practice like this, we dive into the pond, down into the depth of the water, to a true self that is undistorted. A part of ourselves that has been around since the beginning of time. And maybe you can already feel that within you, that strength, that wisdom, that ancient part of yourself. And then from here, very, very slowly, again, you're starting to lift up. Take your time, you don't have to move fast. And we're just gonna twist towards the left side. Take your time. Good. And we're gently coming back. And again, just move. Good. For the next part, you can put the blocks and bolsters aside. We're gonna come onto our belly into half frog pose. Everyone okay? Everyone good? Good. So we're gonna lie down onto the belly. Good. And then we're gonna start with the left leg first. So we're just gonna bring the left knee out into a 90-degree angle.
Good. And you can let your head rest on your hands. And again, we're going to hold this pose for 3 minutes. So this is normally not a pose that feels super intense or uncomfortable, but it's a great, great way to release tension in the hip, in opening up. And so you can just allow yourself to relax into this pose. Enjoying the fact that for now it doesn't feel too tense. This is a preparation for full frog later on. And so we're just giving the hip some time to wake up. Always bring your breath into a deep version of itself, drawing your thoughts towards the breathing. Maybe you start to feel a bit of a change in the pose. We have another minute here on this side. Thirty more seconds. Good. And then very gently bring that left leg back into a straight position down onto the mat. See if you can feel a bit of a difference between left and right, just while you're on the belly. And you might feel quite a bit of a difference, and maybe you don't feel so much. But I always like to just refocus. And then we're going to work on the right side. So we're going to do the same thing on the right now. We're going to place the right foot out, the right knee out in a right angle. So your right knee is on the floor, your right foot is on the floor. And again, we're giving it 3 minutes here just to open that pose, just to open the hip. And while you're lying on the belly, check in with yourself. Are you starting to relax, or is there maybe still a part of you that is holding back, that is feeling tense? Part of you that is still a little bit on the edge, that hasn't fully been able to release.
Maybe you also feel that you're starting to reach for that deeper part within you. That this part is slowly opening up towards you. That you're going below the surface, down, deeper to your true self. We have 1 more minute on this side. Thirty more seconds. Good. And slowly, slowly bring your right leg back. Again, just give yourself some time here. And then we're gonna come into a wide like a child's pose before going into frog. So for wide like a child's pose, come back, bring your knees apart. Again, you have 2 options here. If you have a bolster and you want to have a little bit of support, you can lean over your bolster if that is something you enjoy, but it's not necessary. I also just like to be in a normal child's pose with my head on the floor. So see which variation you prefer. This is a nice pose that helps you feel really supported. Notice how the ground is holding you. You're allowed to relax. You're allowed to feel held. You're allowed to relax. You're allowed to feel held. You're allowed to relax. You're allowed to let go. Let the ground beneath you hold you. As women, we're often taught to hold space for others, to take care of others first and ourselves last, to pour out our cup of patience and compassion and love. But right now, this practice is just for you. Can you feel all the heaviness, all the pressure slowly falling off? And then very slowly start to come back up onto your knees. Take your time here. Good. We're slowly starting to come towards the frog pose. And I want to give you again two options. One is a bit softer, the other one is quite intense. Given that this is a yin yoga practice, you might want to go for the first option that is a little bit softer. Just watch me, I'm going to show you both and then you can make a decision. If you want to have the softer version, what you want to do is you want to bring your knees apart. I would recommend that you have them on the mat just to have a bit of a support, or if you have a blanket underneath for your knees, just to have them supported. And then let me see whether you can see that on the camera. So basically you're going to lie down onto the floor with your belly and your head. I'm going to show this a bit from the back. Like this. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to bring your feet together and then let your feet sink towards the floor. And that should already give you quite a deep stretch. If you want to feel a little bit more intense version, and honestly the first one is already quite intense, you can do the classic frog pose where you just bring your knees apart and then you're kind of like lying like this. And if you want, you can take again the bolster as a support like this. But honestly, this is quite intense and we're gonna stay for about 3 minutes. So if you're not having super open hips, looking at you, Melly, if you want to go like into the super deep version, I'm absolutely for it because I think you have the hip flexibility. But otherwise, just try to lie down onto your belly, bring your knees as far apart as you can, have your feet together, and then let your head relax. And so the sole of your feet are touching, and then you're letting them slowly sink towards the ground. I don't know, maybe you all have like super open hips and for you the second version is the thing to do, but I can feel this quite a bit. And again, remember, it's an interesting practice, isn't it? It really forces you to be okay with the discomfort. And in poses like this that are so intense, I really invite you, breathe it out, breathe that intensity out. Maybe even invite that intensity. Oh, guys, sorry. Didn't want to hit the floor. Maybe you even want to invite that intensity. You know, a lot of time I feel like this kind of intensity really makes us feel alive. And remember, there is strength and power in being able to release. With every breath, you're softening a little bit more. Slowly relaxing into this new shape. That's a strange pose, and yet so alluring. If you're checking in with yourself, what is your reaction to it? Are you okay? Or are you resisting? Are you breathing? Or are you holding your breath? It's sometimes a bit of a misconception that yin is easy. Yin is hard. As I said, releasing is hard. Holding it in, that's what we're taught to do from day one. Being able to truly feel and not holding back, that takes time, that takes patience, that takes guts. That's also the beauty of this practice. It gets you to a place that we normally don't travel to. Can you relax even more?
We're almost done. We have another minute here. And yes, I know it's intense. Exhale that tension. Exhale that resistance. Just breathe it out. Let it go. You're doing really well. Good. Now, if you're in the first version, in order to come out, just slowly straighten your legs while they're still on the floor. Just bring your feet out. And then you can kind of like turn your feet so that your toes are on the floor. And with that, you can lift your knees off the ground and then gently come back. If you're in the first version, just slowly push yourself up. So we're slowly coming back. Give yourself time. And come back into a child's pose. Again, you might want to use your bolster here. Allowing yourself to release. I know this was intense. And maybe you can feel that emotion coming up within you. Maybe you feel a bit vulnerable or shaky. It's okay. Whatever feelings are coming up are valid. And then from here, we're slowly coming back up. And then from here, we're gonna come on to the back. If you wanna just watch what we're gonna do next, just to feel certain, you're welcome to do so. So what I wanna do with you is a reclined pigeon. And so the reclined pigeon, I might show this from the back, is this pose. See how you're gonna bring your shin on top of the thigh. But first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna work a little bit more on that hip rotation. So we will have the knee bend, and then we're just gonna bring the foot out, exhale back, and foot in, exhale back, without moving the knee. So it's not, if I show this from this, it's not gonna be like this. The knee stays, and we're really just rotating that hip. Good. So come back down onto your lower back. Sorry, not onto your lower back, onto your back entirely. Good. And just bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a moment of a little hug. Aren't our bodies just amazing? Aren't they just fantastic? Good. So place your left foot back onto the floor. We're going to first start with the hip rotation. We're going to bring the right knee into a 90-degree angle. Your foot is looking forward, your knee is above your hip. If you're not sure how to make sure your knee doesn't move, if you like, you can hold your right knee with your right hand. And then take a deep breath in and draw the right foot towards the right, having that inward rotation. See, your hip bone rotates inwards. Exhale, come back into center. Inhale, rotate the right foot towards the left, towards the inwards. That's an outward rotation. Exhale back. Inhale. You might notice that your outward rotation right now is actually quite big. Exhale back because we had so many outward rotation poses. Inhale into center. Let's do this one more time. Inhale back, exhale back into center. Inhale out towards the right. Exhale back. And then from here, we're just gonna bring the right shin on top of the left thigh. Oh, now my battery has died, so don't worry. So just bring your right shin on top of the left thigh. Go with your hand through the gap. You can either hold your thigh or your shin, whichever one is more available. And you want to feel a stretch in your right hip. And go back. Okay. Can you feel that stretch? So that's a reclined pigeon pose. You can always draw your left knee closer if you need more of a stretch. We worked on the buttock already quite a bit at the beginning. Remember when we had the shins on top of one another? Good. And then from here, you're just going to draw the arms out to the side. Stay in this position, but you just draw the arms to the side. And now you're letting like in this position, you're just letting your legs drop towards the left side. So you're coming into a certain variation of the twist. You're just letting your feet and legs drop towards the left. And then you can turn your head towards your right side. So this is again intended to open your heart, your chest here, the right side, and it stretches out all the lower back, the hip area on the right. Make sure you're turning your head towards the right hand so that you're having that full rotation for the spine. And then when you close your eyes, you can draw your focus really towards your spine. Is your spine completely releasing? Can you exhale attention? Is there a part within you that is still tense? Let yourself soften. And then gently, gently find your way back into the reclined pigeon again. Just draw yourself back. You can keep your right shin just a moment longer on top of the left thigh. And then you're drawing that left leg one more time towards you, just as a last stretch for the right hip. And then exhale. Letting both legs come down to the floor. Just see how you're doing. Can you feel the difference between your right side and your left side? Good. And then from here, we're going to bend the knees again. And we're working on the left leg now. So we're going to bring the left knee into a 90-degree angle. Make sure your knee is just above your hip. If you like, hold your left knee with your left hand. And then take a deep breath in and draw your left foot towards the left. So outside, inward rotation. Exhale, come back. Inhale, draw the left foot towards the right. That's an outward rotation. Exhale back. Inhale, draw the left foot towards the left. Inward rotation. Exhale back. Inhale, drawing the left foot towards the right. Outward rotation. That might sound a bit confusing. Inhale. Exhale towards the left, because you're moving the foot towards the left. It feels like an outward rotation, but you're fine. Exhale, your hip actually moves inwards, and then inhale, move the left foot again towards the right, and see how now the hip actually rotates outwards. And inhale back. And then from here, bring your right knee up and bring your left shin on top of the right thigh. And again, bring your left hand through the gap between the legs, and you can hold your right thigh or your right shin, depending on what feels more comfortable. You might again notice a bit of a change or a difference between the two hips. See if you can soften a little bit more while you're breathing. If you feel absolutely no stretch, draw your left knee away from you and your right knee towards you. Deep breaths here. And then let your arms sink out to the side with the palms facing up. And just the way the legs are now, just drop them over towards the right side. For a twist, you can bring your right hand on top of the left knee and turn your nose towards your left hand. So we're always turning the face away from the knees in twists. Just as a general rule. And you really try to move your head, because then your spine has this full rotation from the neck all the way down to the base. If you feel like it's too intense, you can always place a block underneath your left knee or a bolster. Allow your eyes to close if they haven't already. Connecting again to the breath. I am gently releasing. I am letting go. I am present. I am at peace. And then gently, gently find your way back into reclined pigeon again. And just bring your hands again through the gap and holding that right leg one more time, drawing the right knee a little bit closer, just seeing if something has changed, if something has shifted. And once you're ready, exhale, placing both legs down onto the ground. Just seeing like, how did that stretch impact me? And then before we come to Yoga Nidra, I want to do one last pose, and that's butterfly on the floor. So in this position that you're now, you're just going to bring your feet back towards the hip. You're going to place the soles of your feet together and your knees to the side, like a butterfly, but just lying down. And then you can bring your arms either straight out to the side, or you can have them in a cactus shape, depending a little bit on your shoulders, which one you feel
is more comfortable. And so in this pose, we have both. We have that hip opener and we have the heart opener. We're just taking a few moments here in this beautiful pose, in this pose of complete trust and openness. Just let yourself sink all the way without any resistance. And then from here, very, very gently, bring your knees back into the center and draw them towards your chest, giving yourself a little hug. Good. We are now coming towards the Yoga Nidra part of our session. So I want to give you a few moments to settle, meaning that you might want to put on a you might want to put on some socks or a sweater. You want to get as comfortable as possible. Maybe you want to have your bolster underneath your back or underneath your knees. Maybe you want to have a pillow underneath your back. Just give yourself the time to settle. And then whenever you feel you're ready, you can just lie down. And if you like, you can already close your eyes. If you still need to drink something, take a sip of water before we go on to our journey. Good. And then slowly, slowly start to come into the position of your choice. Allow yourself to relax. You might want to take another deep breath just to center. You can slowly, slowly feel yourself sinking deeper onto your mat. So Yoga Nidra is an ancient yogic practice that will guide us through the body. And Yoga Nidra means yogic sleep. But the goal of today's meditation is not to fall asleep, but instead you're guided to a place of complete relaxation and complete awareness.
You might notice your consciousness drifting in and out throughout the practice, and that's okay. If you can, try to stay awake. But should you actually drift away and fall asleep, know that your subconscious is still hearing every word that I say. The yogis believe that this practice has great power. It is a practice to go deep towards your truest part. The yogis also believe that it is in this state of complete relaxation and that complete awareness, that's where we can create and manifest our dreams and goals. And because today's practice is also about releasing, I will guide you to a different realm before we start with the Yoga Nidra. So make sure that you are completely comfortable. If there is still a shift needed in your position, make it now. And then allow yourself a deep, long breath in and out. And you can feel yourself slowly relax. And before your inner eye, you slowly find yourself near a forest meadow. There's a full moon in the sky that lights up the area. And a beautiful pond in the center of that meadow. You can see the light of the moon reflecting on the surface of the water. You can hear the subtle rustle of the wind in the trees. And you're starting to walk towards the water. And at the edge of the water, you can see a woman. The woman is beautiful, cloaked in fine garments. And she's standing next to a bowl of fire. The fire of transformation. And you can feel a sense of calmness and peace coming over you. She welcomes you. She welcomes you on this journey today. And she's pointing to the fire next to her. Into this fire, you can pour all your fears, all your worries, all the beliefs that are holding you back. You can let go of any sense of guilt or shame or fear or sadness. You don't right away have to decide. Just know that whatever you would like to let go of today, this is the place to do it. And then she points to a beautiful, soft bed next to her, where you can feel yourself lying down and relax. And while you're relaxing, you're starting to become aware of the body. You're slowly starting to feel your right thumb. You notice your right index finger, the right middle finger. You can feel the right ring finger and the right little finger. You notice the palm of your right hand, the back of your right hand. You can feel the right wrist and the right lower arm, the right elbow and the right upper arm. You can feel the right shoulder, the right shoulder blade. You can feel the right side of your rib cage and the right side of your waist. You're feeling your right buttock and the right part of your pelvis. You can feel the whole right hip. You notice the right thigh, the right knee, the right shin, and the right calf. You can feel the right ankle, the right heel, the sole of your right foot, the back of your right foot, your right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. You can feel your whole right side relax. And then you're shifting your awareness to your left thumb. Noticing the left index finger, the left middle finger, the left ring finger, the left little finger. Noticing the palm of your left hand, the back of your left hand. You can feel your left wrist and the left lower arm. Noticing the left elbow and the left upper arm. Becoming aware of your left shoulder and the left shoulder blade. The left side of your rib cage and the left side of your waist. You can feel the left buttock and the left side of your pelvis. You're noticing the whole left hip, the left thigh, the left knee. You can feel your left shin and the left calf, the left ankle, the left heel, the sole of your left foot, the back of your left foot, the left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. Your whole left side is relaxed. And from there, you draw your awareness to your lower back. You can feel the whole lower back relax. The tailbone, the back of your pelvis, the iliosacral joint where the spine and your pelvis are fused together. The whole lower back is relaxed. And you're wandering upwards along the spine. And you can feel your whole middle back relax. The whole middle back is relaxed. And you're wandering higher towards your upper back. You can feel the shoulder blades gently pressing into the floor. All the vertebrae of your upper back are relaxed. The whole back is relaxed. And from there, you're guiding your awareness to your belly area. You can feel the gentle lifting and sinking of the belly. A sense of warmth and softness. The whole belly is relaxed. And you're wandering upwards towards the rib cage. And you can feel that gentle expansion when you inhale and the gentle contraction whenever you exhale. Your breath is flowing easily, freely in and out. And then you're slowly drawing your awareness to your heart space, your chest area. And again, you're noticing that sense of calmness and peace. You are at peace. You are calm. And you're wandering higher towards the throat and the neck, becoming aware of the jaw and the chin. You can feel the cheeks, the lips touching. You can feel the tongue inside your mouth, the teeth and the gums. You can feel a gentle smile in the corner of your mouth. You can feel the top of your lip, the top of your nose, the side of the nose, the bridge of your nose, the gentle stream of air flowing in and out with every breath. You can feel the top of the nose in between the eyebrows. You're becoming aware of your eyes heavy in their sockets and the lids of your eyes gently covering the eyes. You can feel the eyebrows and the temples next to the eyes. You can feel the forehead slowly softening even more. You can feel the ears on either side of your head. You can notice the back of your head gently pressing into the floor. You notice the top of your head. You can feel your whole face relax. The whole face is relaxed. You can feel your right hand and your left hand, the right foot and the left foot. You notice the left arm and the right arm, the right leg and the left leg. You can feel your feet, your legs, your hip, your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, your belly, your chest, your shoulders, the upper arms, the elbows, the lower arms, the hands, the neck, the throat and the face completely relax. You can feel the complete relaxation of your body. And in this sense of relaxation, you can see clearly in front of your inner eye. What is it you want to let go of today? What patterns no longer serve you? And whenever you see it in front of your eyes, thank your thoughts, that pattern, that feeling for its service. And then when you're ready, just throw it into the fire next to you, in that fire of transformation. Allow it to let go. Allow everything that no longer serves you to release. Whatever you give to the fire, thank the sensation, the feeling, the thought for its service, and then let it go. And with everything you're letting go, you feel even lighter, calmer, more at peace. And you can feel that new sense of peace entering within you, deep down in your core. And the woman next to you asks you, after you've transformed your worries and your fears? What would you like to manifest? What would you like to anchor within your subconscious for it to bloom and to grow? If you could wish for anything you ever wanted, what would that be? It can be big or small. Allow yourself to see it in as much detail as you can, as if it had already become your reality. And then slowly, slowly, you can feel your awareness coming back to the here and now. You're slowly starting to leave that beautiful place of peace. You can feel your heart brimming with joy. And slowly, slowly, you're starting to arrive back here on your mat, within your body. You're slowly, slowly starting to become aware again of your surroundings. You start to hear the sounds around you. You can feel the ground beneath you. You're starting to take a deep breath in and out, gently starting to move your body, your toes, your fingers, whatever needs to be moved. If you like, you can start to bring your arms over your head and give yourself a good stretch. And then from here, slowly, slowly bring your knees into your chest. Allow yourself to feel a little hug. And then from there, wherever you are, slowly turn over to your favorite side. Keep your eyes still closed. And just slowly, slowly, in your own tempo, find your way back into a seated position. You can keep your eyes closed. Slowly, slowly waking back up. Take your time, we're in no hurry. How are you doing right now? What did you let go of? And what did you receive? Try to come back to that feeling as often as you can throughout the next days and weeks. Anchoring your manifestation within you so that it can slowly arrive in the outside world as well. And we're going to close today's class with 3 yam. That's the sound of your heart chakra. So that we can just bring a little bit more energy to your manifestation today. And if you like, you can chant with me or you can just listen, whichever feels more comfortable. So take a deep breath in through the nose and exhaling it out. And inhale for yam. 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 And from here, bring your hands in front of the heart. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy and free. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Peace, peace, peace. I thank you all so much for joining tonight. From my heart to yours. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're feeling a little bit released, a little bit grounded, a little bit calmer. If you like to write down what came up in your meditation, you can take a few moments after the class just to write it down. Maybe try to take it easy tonight, calm, slow. And then I wish you a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you so much for joining in tonight. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. It was wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Very nice.
Did something come up during the meditation? It's interesting, no? What's within us, there's so much wisdom and then we just forget because our lives are so busy. So thank you so much for coming on this journey. Oh, I feel much calmer as well. It's just so lovely practicing with all of you. So have a lovely, lovely evening. I'm just going to stop recording.